the moment of truth. So some of you will know that I've been hiring for a content creator for the past few weeks to help me with personal branding, finding some consistency, and just generally producing better content. I interviewed about 15 people. I gave them a task to produce a 60 to 90-second video clip based on a story from my own life. So there were 3 different stories that were given out to different candidates.
Hey guys, check out this awesome story that I came across this week. Right now, social media, apps, and the digital space are having a massive impact on our view of mental health. These emotions deeply affect performance, decision making, teamwork, and leadership. How can we integrate the two? Well, this was a question that Sunil Sandhu had on his mind back in 2018 when Nottingham Forest Football Club approached him to build a mental health app for its players. Sunil is the founder and CEO at In Plain English, a tech-focused media platform aimed at making accessible educational content. So how did he do it? With just a 3-week deadline, Sunil got to work with no team or code base to build a mental health app for Android and iOS. He aimed at monitoring the mental health status of the elite football player of the Premier League team, Nottingham Forest Football Club. Sunil worked on his own with limited resources and even packing in 16-hour days. So what did he learn? That building the tech, that's actually the easy part. The tricky part is the people. The hard part is understanding what people need versus what they'll actually use. So what did you think of this story? Let us know in the comments.
Nice. Okay, so that's interesting. One of the things I should say as well is that the stories that people were given, they kind of were given basically like a blog post I'd written about the topic. I thought that was a really interesting one. Okay, so it's been approached from the perspective of like, here's a story I've heard about that I want to share with my audience. I think she did a pretty good job. This guy told me he wasn't particularly uh, adept at making videos. So he was honest about that. I don't know how well that bodes for him, but let's see what he put together.
He just wrote one single blog post and strangers translated into 10 different languages. Here is how it happened. Back in 2017, Sunil was a junior developer at a tiny agency and all he knew was Vue. But he wanted to learn React and there were no comparison guides to compare the 2 languages. One entire weekend, Sunil spent learning React and built 2 identical apps, one in React and one in Vue, documented everything and wrote a detailed post on Reddit and went to bed. Next morning, as Sunil woke up, he saw thousands of notifications and each hour he was getting 1,000 views on that blog that he wrote last night because his blog went viral and people across the world were translating it into different languages and he got 250,000 views in just 2 days. That post sparked a trend. From no one, Sunil became a viral sensation. He got paid gigs and even opened a Medium publication which got over 147,000 subscribers. It all started with a viral post which he just made by teaching everyone what he was learning on the go. So what's stopping you?
Okay, interesting. Actually, I think it was better than he initially kind of led me on to believe. Maybe he undersold himself in that regard, but I thought it was pretty good. There's difference between say that one and the first one I've watched. Like the pacing was very different. Other things as well, of course. Like the first video used music. This one didn't. This one used a lot of kind of quick cuts. This second video, interesting. It's nice to see the 2 perspectives on this.
Here's the story of how one blog post shared with no audience and no brand helped launch Sunil Sandhu into a whole new career and why this still matters today. In 2017, Sunil wrote a blog post, not to go viral, but just to solve something that confused a lot of developers. And what happened next? The post exploded. Hundreds of thousands of developers read it, and a new format was born. Sunil realized that this wasn't just a story, it was so much more. And JavaScript in plain English took off. The real turning point? He shared it before he had social proof, before he had a platform. Just truth. And that honesty became the foundation for everything that followed. A lot of creators second guess themselves, especially in tech. But this story is proof that when you share what you're learning with depth and honesty, people show up. This isn't about going viral.
This is about what it gave him: clarity, courage, and a new direction. He didn't just build a post, he built belief. Now Sunil is helping others do the same and building the next chapter in public. Sunil didn't build a post, he built belief. Something doesn't need to be perfect to have an impact. Someone out there needs to hear your version of the story, and maybe this is your sign to start.
Okay, interesting. So I feel like the storytelling in this one is like, what's the word I'm thinking of? More purposeful in this the video that I've seen out of the other out of them so far. I think they've all got merits and they're all strong in their own way. So yeah, this is an interesting one. I can tell that this candidate, like the video editing, is not the strongest, but the storytelling is good. So interesting one. Okay, so we're going to move on to the third story, which was that time I tried to take down coding boot camps.
So I recently came across this founder, and he's not just a regular tech guy. He challenged conventional boot camps simply with his laptop and sheer determination. Allow me to tell you his story. Back in 2020, Sunil was living by the sea in Italy, just him, his laptop, and the dream of building something meaningful. One night, he came across a bootcamp ad. It said, learn to code, pay later. But the fine print, you owe 40% of your salary for years. That didn't sit right. So he decided to build a better way. He launched Stackademic, a free, community-powered coding school. No gimmicks, no debt, just learning. He wrote the curriculum, hosted live Zoom classes, and even built a full student platform all by himself. Within 48 hours, thousands signed up from over 80 countries, teenagers, parents, even a few retirees. It wasn't polished. It wasn't perfect. It was real. And when life took a turn, and Sunil had to pause the project, it didn't crash. It just quietly stepped back. Still, it changed lives, gave people confidence, showed them what's possible when someone believes in them. Sometimes the most meaningful work is the messy kind you do simply because you care.
Okay, you know what? I like that. That's a good one. That had that had good pace. It felt like the storytelling was good there. The like the use of the footage that was just from like classes that were on YouTube, I thought that was really good as well. It kind of felt like he took the time to look through all of that and try and find the right bits, because video like live recordings of classes are anywhere between kind of 30 to 2 hours long, just posted in their entirety. So he's had to kind of like look through it to find good stuff. So I thought that was a really good one. That was really good. Okay, so let's see who else we've got.
Meet Falguni. She's this close to throwing her laptop out the window because she's been hunting for a coding boot camp that doesn't cost as much as a luxury car.
Why is everything so expensive? 20 plans for what? Outdated slides and a good luck email.
So you haven't heard about Sunil Sandhu?
Don't talk, show me.
In 2020, Sunil, a frustrated founder living in Italy, saw coding boot camps for what they were: overpriced, outdated, and borderline predatory. So he launched Stackademic. No tuition, no tricks, no 40% of your salary for 2 years, just live Zoom classes,
I'm listening.
a custom-built student portal, and a global community, all powered by one guy.
One guy teaching, coding, grading, and building. He has to be insane.
Instead, yes, but within 48 hours, thousands signed up from over 80 countries.
So what happened next? Did it last?
Life pulled him back to the UK as Stackademic paused. But Sunil proved one thing: tech education doesn't have to be expensive, outdated, or built to exploit you. It can be free.
Let's search this guy on LinkedIn.
Sunil runs in plain English, a publishing and learning network, reaching millions of developers. No overpriced courses, no hype, just simple, honest tech education.
This guy looks interesting. I'm going to follow him right away.
Damn, that was good. That seemed to have like that's the only one so far that leaned into the humor that kind of resonates with me, because I've been talking with all of these candidates about how I don't just want to create content that is like motivational, inspirational, etc. Like I do want to have fun with it along the way. That's the only submission so far that has kind of like made me laugh and that kept me entertained. So I really liked the direction that one went. I really like that. Storytelling also, by the way, was really good with that as well. Okay, and like yeah, because the others so far everyone's kind of told a story about me. But this one felt like the story was kind of it was about her a bit more, like a bit more like it's a story about me, but with her in there as well. I don't know how to explain it, but just I thought that was good. Like there was really creative. So yeah, there's some good candidates here so far.
How do you start learning how to code in 2025? And is it still worth it? Well, breaking into tech can be so overwhelming. Everyone keeps saying the same thing, is that you need to understand AI to stay relevant. So I've been exploring a lot of resources online and I came across several boot camps that promise the world but also charge thousands. And it got me thinking, with so many free resources on the internet, is it worth it to pay for a boot camp? I also found an online platform that teaches you how to code for free from a tech founder called Sunil. And what Stackademic did really well was to bring in teachers that were actually working on the field. And the founder of Stackademic, Sunil, said something that really stuck with me. To be a CTO at a company today, you really need to constantly update your knowledge. For these bootcamps, if the curriculum doesn't really evolve with the industry, then what's the point? Unfortunately, Stackademics is not active anymore, but it left us with some really good questions. Can tech education still be free? So yes, you can still learn how to code for free. It might be harder and you have to build your own path, but it's possible. And personally, I see more value in thought leadership rather than just courses, because those leaders are today the closest thing we have to what's actually happening in the industry. And that's why founders such as Sunil creating a course based on his real life experience is something so powerful. And maybe, just maybe, that's what the future of tech should look like.
Hmm. Okay, like definitely a good one. I'm not. I didn't feel like it resonated as much with me as some of the other ones I've seen. There were also a couple of things like I noticed academic was misspelled in the captions. It said like Stack Academy. I mean, I know that can be one of those things where it's just kind of like auto-generated. Wouldn't stand out to anyone else, of course, but me as the person who created it, I'd noticed that.
Have you ever gotten so fed up about something that you try to take down the entire industry? Well, this founder actually did just that. It was 2020, and he was so done with seeing all the overpriced coding bootcamps advertised online, where they made big promises. Once you got
I
hooked,
don't
they seem to think they deserve about
I don't
a third
remember
of your
recording
fee, and
that.
he was so done with seeing all the overpriced coding bootcamps advertised online, where they made big promises and money, and he was so done with
Is that me?
seeing all the overpriced coding bootcamps advertised online, where they made big promises, and once you got hired, they seem to think they deserve about a third of your salary. So he built his own version, free, modern, and accessible. Oh yeah, and one of the underlying missions of Stackademic was to bring the underrepresented genders into the industry.
Male dominated space, and most of the high ranking positions across the industry are still run by men, mostly kind of middle-aged white men as well.
He ran live Zoom lessons, built a full curriculum, and even created a student portal from scratch. Logins, homework, class recordings, feedback, all of it by himself. And people didn't just notice, they showed up. Thousands of students from over 80 countries joined. Suddenly, he was running a full-on global school solo.
Everything's under control. Situation normal.
But this story isn't really about a coding bootcamp. It's about trying, about seeing something that is broken and building something better, even if it's messy and even if it doesn't last forever. Academic didn't become the dream, the success story that many of us like to hear, but it helped people. And sometimes the stuff you build just because you believe in it ends up being the most meaningful work of all. What industry would you like to take down? Let us know down in the comments, and we'll see you there.
Okay, I like that one. This one definitely injected some humor into it, like a little bit less than say some of the other ones, but more than some of the other ones as well. This is gonna be tough. This is going to be tough. I think off the top of my head, there's definitely a few that stayed with me, but I'm going to need to watch them all again a couple more times to and make some notes and kind of truly decide which one is my favorite.